Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Flow with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. Yeah, I've been working on doing that with one breath. Goran, how's it going? Jaden, Mike, Wilson, how are you? Simon, Keith, Francois, Bill, Jill, my girl. What's up? Gia says sup. Sylvan says hola. Oh man. All kinds of things are up today and down and all around. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about love. The Spy. This is fun. I think we found a pretty close pattern. Great job. High five. Gia says, are we going down? I don't know. This is the pattern I think that we were following, though, pretty closely. And so far, it's spot on. Exactly what I said yesterday. And it was a gap up into a high wave inside day bearish candle off the 200 simple. What more could you possibly ask for? It's the exact same pattern. So we'll get to find out if it does, in fact, play out accordingly tomorrow. Tomorrow being Monday, of course. If we gap up nicely on Monday, I really do think we're going to follow some sort of movement like this, where we just boom, boom, boom from there. And realistically, I mean, I could even do the bars pattern, even though sometimes I forget where it is. It's not there. Bars pattern. So bars, how do I do this again? If I click on it, oh yes, I click on it and go here. I think we just need this one. Whoa, why is it a line? Hold on one second. I don't want a line. I want bars. Bars for days. I did bars pattern, right? How do I click on this? Let me formulate it. Give me 1 second. Ah, there's the line. Bars. High-low bars. Let's do high-low bars. Okay, so I move it over from there. And here we go. So we'll leave that on there for a few days, and we can just get to see what's going to happen. Sylvan says, I see April, May, double bottom happening again. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. Right, we come back down at some level, like whatever this ends up being, 270-ish, something like that, then pop coming into the end of the year. It makes tons of sense, team. So for SPY, if you're trading the SPY, I think this setup now looks really decent. This could also be, I mean, I'll leave it as a bracket trade, but here you go, right? If it breaks above 277.67, that'd be probably the area to go bullish, especially if we gap up on Monday. And then if we gap down and break down, it still could be a bearish play, right? I'm not saying we can't go lower. I'm saying this is a really good zone for where we should bounce. Time will tell. I wish I knew for sure, but I'll be playing it relatively neutral, expecting a bull bounce. That's the SPY, and what's truly interesting is hopping over here to the Qs. We got ourselves the Qs on the daily chart, inside day candle for the most part, bearish candle, chilling at the 200. Here's the Dow Jones. And the Dow Jones also high wave, inside day, bullish candle. This is the FAS, which is the financial ETF. And FAS took a hard drop the last few days, but so far has still been kind of viable. And what's really interesting on the FAS, the low of this candle, 57.11. Low of this candle, 57.11. Same exact low. Same exact low. 57.11. That's crazy. That's bonkers. So I think it's a good support. And again, if we do gap down on Monday, it's going to be gnarly. we're gonna run a little bit on Monday if we gap down. We might retest some, but there's gonna be a little bit more rampaging going on for the downward movement on FAS and really kind of the broader market. We could break through this support barely, and then we could bounce. If we do close below this support, that's when I'll be a little cautious. We still have plenty of time to find out, and we will see. But here's the 100 simple on a weekly chart on FAS. Really key level. No idea if we're going to bounce here, but many times in the past we have, even if it's for a short period of time. I don't know. I like it. I'm not scared of it. That's all I'm saying. Questions, concerns, thoughts, or opposition viewpoints before we hop into some of the other stocks. What's up, Nancy? Mike Ramsey in the building. The Ramster. Hey, bud. Hope you're doing well. Excited to see. I got Blake Bortles on my fantasy football team this week because the Seattle team is on bye week. Looks like your guys are all good. Okay, great. So I'm going to hop over to Tesla. This is the first one to update on the day. I posted this one in Slack, also updated it in TradingView. Bought to close this 100 put sale, as I mentioned I would yesterday. I say it, I do it. 100 put sale, purchase back for 54 cents. 54 cents. And that's a decent gain. I would like all of it, but I don't. I mean, I mentioned I was going to buy it to close, so I did. It's just really that simple. Very good put sale, though. Corey Jones, shout out to Corey, also had a bull put, multiple bull put spreads expire worthless today. 210, 215, and 235, 245. Also, Julian said he got into some other bull put spreads as well. On Tesla, it's still out of support. Here's the daily chart. It did a great job of filling this gap, and I'd be keeping an eye out for Tesla to also bounce on Monday. I think we bounce on Monday, just in general. Nice long lower shadow. We filled this retest gap right there, and could we do something like this? Sure. Will we? I don't know. Monday could be fun. A gap up or a gap down will be pretty insightful. What if it doesn't gap at all? Then I'll just be waiting a lot more waiting. So that's what we got on Tesla. Here's the weekly long terms. We're still hanging out down here. A few other traders have some put sales. And if we do gap down and trade lower, I will sell some more puts on Tesla again. I might even sell a December. The December 100 has about $1.60 worth of premium. So I don't mind doing that. The only challenge is at this particular moment, again, as you all know, we got put shares on MU. A lot of people are in MU holding on strong. We'll look at that today. NVIDIA is for December, and then that will be it as far as put sales now that I've bought back Tesla. So I have room for at least one more. Anyway, that's pretty much the only update on Tesla. Option expiration was today. So many of these are going to be option sellers selling their stuff. Robert Falco had an $18 put sale expire, worthless today. And now it's gapping up a little bit post-market, potentially. 1901. Let me look at this. Yeah, just a small little tick. So you definitely expired worthless, though, Falks. Congrats. Got close, winning the money a few times, but you didn't mind owning it. So there's a chance you'll probably do it again for November. Anyway, that one expired worthless for you. You're the only one I know of in Pivotal. Congrats. Next on the list, Disney. Disney today was a really beautiful gap and go. Super nice gap and go, very good volume, good close above resistance. All the good words that you would want to use for Disney happened today. I Don't know exactly what resistance we're going to pause, but Disney is really strong, not caring about the market at all. Falco was able to buy back his 118 covered call. I am assuming for a super small gain. And if it wasn't, it was a super small loss. And then he sold, I believe, a 130 for December. I still think this is the breakout of the triangle. And if you need a remembering, see if I can do it that way, open a new tab. Just to recall what I thought was going to occur on Disney, I'll pull that chart up, but there's still, I think, some upside left on Disney. Disney on the verge of magic for the bulls. I think that's a great chart title. Where did it go? So this is a weekly chart. And there we go. The Gia says, people left Netflix for Disney. Not even close. Not even almost. Do not believe the hype. That's totally wrong. Disney is making money off the movies and the parks. Yeah, I mean, I still think it has room to go based on this little triangle movement. We'll find out. Anyway, I like Disney. I like the gap. This is how I tried to play it 2 or 3 times. So we'll see. This is the 5-minute chart, and my entry was when this candle broke out right there. My entry was this blue line, and I had a second entry right here, and then I had a stop loss right there. So we got real close to getting filled on Disney. It retested twice and made some new highs, really crushed. Had I left both of those orders open all day, they would have filled perfectly and actually would have been able to make an R, but I didn't. It's okay. Not stressed. I didn't leave that open. Would have worked out really nice. That's all I have on Disney right now. Falco says their content is great, though. If they pull it off, Netflix, that would be a big hit to Netflix subscribers, I think. If anything, I think they'll just do both. I don't foresee people just leaving Netflix to go to Disney streaming. They'll just do both. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But Netflix right now is just raking in some cash. The Gia says if you have small kids, that's true. But Netflix also has kids programs. I don't know anything about how well they are, how good they are. That I don't know. But yeah, if you got the kids, it's definitely going to be a showdown. We will see. There's going to be a lot out there. There's going to be a little bit of a battle. But Netflix will be king for a while, I think. That's Disney. HK. This is a boring one. I had a covered call. If you have more than 100 shares, which most people do, you could do a covered call. And that $5 covered call expired worthless. So I will do another one next week for $5 for November. And at this particular point, October 18th was yesterday. My stop is now $2 on HK. Which means if it goes down to $2, I'm going to lose about 1.3 something Rs. We'll look at it Wednesday, HK. So this will be like a 1.3 something, won't be too bad. And that's about it. I think I'm going to move the stop to $2.50 on November 20th. Let me see if November 20th. The Giant says, I only watch RLT videos. That's funny. November 20th is a Tuesday. I'll do November 21st since that's a Wednesday, the Energy Wednesday, and that'll be when I'll move it up to 250. And that'll be probably about an R loss. And we'll see what it does there. I'll just kind of keep slowly grinding it higher. Eventually have the stop up here nice and tight. and I'll just keep doing covered calls. Hopefully get called away at some point for a very, very small gain, and then I'll move along. Okay, next on the list, Bank of America. Bank of America. Check it out because it is Finance Friday. There's a stink bug on my wall. Hello, stink bug. Why are you here? Do I have anywhere to throw you away? I don't think I do. All right, you stay over there then. Bank of America, very similar to FAS, posted, I think, the exact same low, 27.64, 27.63, 1 penny away from the exact low. So a very obviously super strong support on Bank of America. 100 simple moving average is at 26.94. There's a few of you in shares longer term. I'm not personally, not a big Bank of America fan. And that's pretty much all I have on BAC. A lot of volatility right now, a lot of things happening. Good little slowdown. Still looks like some type of corrective wave. Even if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, could be big, gnarly sideways, but I still think we get a 5. Even on that wave counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC. Every way I count most of the markets, we are in some type of corrective cycle right now. So no official setup on Bank of America. 3D printing. Some of you held these put sales until expiration, which is totally cool. The $14 put sales, they did expire this Friday. And I've done 3D printing numerous times. It's not very expensive. There's a chance I might do it again because November has a lot of premium at $11. So that one's done. And I'm going to come down here and start planning this November. I still haven't gotten put any shares of 3D. This would be probably the 18th one in a row. $11 put sale November question mark. I'll come back and look at that Tuesday. It is over earnings. It could gap down pretty strongly. You continue down pretty strongly until there. It is also at the 100. Jaya says, is it a good idea to close some stocks in a long-term account and keep the cash to buy the salsa? That's a good question. It's hard to answer exactly because it really can depend on financial situation, age. There's a lot of things that factor into that. My advice would be, and my thought process would be, if you're up on something, but you're only up small, and it's a trade that you don't love, it's a company that you don't love, maybe like an AT&T, you're probably not up on AT&T, but like T-Mobile or something that pays dividends, maybe Walmart, you're up on it a little bit, but not a lot, maybe like 10% or something, and you want to apply it to something better, something a little bit more fast moving. Yeah, you know, lock in a gain and then go buy the salsa on something. Cash is always a great position to be in. A lot of people overestimate how much trading they need to do to make money in the markets. Cash is always a great position. Wait for a time when you're uncomfortable. Wait for a time when the market's doing some weird things. Find a good company that you like and buy it low. I love being in cash. I'm not in cash very often, but I do like being in cash. Cool. Yeah, very cool. So it's kind of like the rebalancing act. Taking something from something, a lot of people take something that's performing really, really well. I'm usually the opposite. If something's performing super well, I keep holding it because it likely will keep performing well, and I cut the losers. I let the winners keep running, like an Apple or a Square, even though I got out of Square, but like an Apple. I'll go and put it to something that's not working or something that I want to buy. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that question. Great question. That's my thoughts on 3D printing. And I'll come back. Here's NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a really interesting day today. It's following Mr. Squiggles perfectly. So now we get to see if it actually bounces and if this is a whipsaw, if this is a market trap, or if this is for real. And we'll find that out pretty much within a few days. I'm expecting a bounce here only because it seems a little too obvious to go short. It is a double top on the weekly, similar to Amazon. Closed below the 50 on the weekly. Everyone's going to start looking for a bearish move on NVIDIA. I think it's just kind of like a no-brainer, like a no-duh. Of course, it goes bearish here. So I did the 170 put sale. That's mathematically 60 points away. That's huge. That's 6 times the movement today, which would be 24% lower, I believe, on NVIDIA. And it's still below the 100 simple on the weekly, and there's still earnings around the corner, about a month away. I'm not saying you have to take the trade. I'm just saying you're more than welcome to consider it if you don't mind buying NVIDIA at 170. I'm just trying to be as conservative as I can. I am going to watch NVIDIA, though, Monday morning to see if we get a good gap up and see if this is a trap. If NVIDIA gaps down, however, that would be relatively bearish in my opinion. So I'll be watching it Monday pretty closely. That's what I got. Next on the list, Shake Shack. And Shake Shack getting wrecked. So this is the daily chart. Shake Shack is trading in between the long-term moving averages. And you can see the double top on Shake Shack that was so good with that gap down that I missed. I missed this gap down. I'll remember that forever. And then just traded back to the neckline of that double top right there. Made another double top right here. Retested that neckline just days ago and then tanked again. So Yates has a covered call on this one. That expired worthless pretty easily. And Shake Shack, here's the weekly chart on it. And it looks like it's going to come down to the 50, which we have bounced off the 50 before. Last time we've been in the 50 EMA was down here. And this is at 52.65, so that's the weekly chart. And the daily chart is very close to the 200, which is at 53.32. So if you're going to get any kind of bouncing on Shake Shack, it's probably around there, Yates. Most likely, though, we come into this gap a little bit and kind of test some of those levels on the gap. So something like flash lower, something like that. If we're going to go higher, it's going to take a little bit more time, I think. So anyway, I think Yates is the only one in Shake Shack. So moving on, Johnson & Johnson, J&J, J&J Cafe, Johnson & Johnson, Mr. Squiggles putting in work. Here's the weekly. Chiazzo with a 135, 130 bull put spread. Let me give Chiazzo some love. Congrats on the Johnson & Johnson bull put spread expiring. So 135, 130, man, $2.40 for October. That's some good premium. So this thing just pulled back to its long-term moving, not the 20 EMA, kind of a quick drop. Mr. Squiggles on the ball on this one. Trend still looks good. It is Johnson & Johnson. Products aren't going anywhere. And this stock not caring about the market drop either, realistically. It's above all of its moving averages. Could be a good one to start watching on the hourly chart for my traders who watch the hourly a lot. Could look to buy a little bit here at 138 and buy a little bit more at 137 with a stop at 135 and add to it if it breaks above 140.16. But at this particular point in time, yeah, I'll just keep holding Johnson & Johnson. I forget if Thomas has a position on this one or not. But that's all I got. All right. JD.com. So JD, some people getting put some shares on this bad boy. So Falco getting put some shares. Chief getting put some shares. This stock continuing to drop, and I really did expect it to hit the 20. I was hoping it would hit the 20, and it never did, so I didn't get back into protective puts for this stupid leap. So for those of you who are getting put shares today or technically tomorrow morning, I think the next best thing to do is to buy protective puts pretty much halfway into this candle on a hopeful retest. And that would be November 23 on JD.com, right? So just have some insurance. They're not super expensive. They're about $1.33 right now. So you'd probably look to buy them on a little bit of a pullback, maybe $1.25, something like that. $1.25 limit buy. And just kind of see if we actually retest and roll over into earnings. Because right now the trend is your friend on JD, and it's not a bullish one. Huge company though, massive. I know I've said that a few times about China, and right now China is getting punched around. Lee said, should we sell covered calls at the same time? That's a very good question. I can't yet because it's a 33 call and there's no money anywhere. And I don't want to turn it into a covered call, or sorry, a bear call spread. There's just no money in covered calls unless you did an at the money covered call. I can't personally do that. If you had shares, you could. Well, I theoretically could. There would be a lot of margin for a bear call spread if I sold a call under 33. So if you have shares and on a pullback lead, if you want, you could always get into an at the money covered call, like a 23 or 24. Sell that call, but there's still not a whole lot of premium unless you did November $24 covered call. You're only getting 92 cents, and you have to hold over earnings. So unfortunately, I'm probably just going to buy puts, wait it out, protect yourself on the way down, and when JD probably gets to 20 or a little bit below, do our best to mitigate some losses, because the thing is with these leaps, they're almost free. At this point, most of you, if you're able, because we bought some puts through here, we bought some puts through here, and so they're about $1.10-ish. It just kind of depends on how you played it. So here's the weekly, and we're just going to have to get a little bit of time. Because again, if it does trade back down to this support, if you're in long-term shares, I still think it's a matter of time before JD continues higher. But obviously, we're in a little bit of a pickle. There will be a support at some magnitude at some point. Falco says, just have to wait for Trump to pull out a China deal. Sylvan says, just before midterms, mic drop. Yeah, the midterms are around the corner. So if there is a deal that gets struck, we could see some slow returning to normalcy for JD, but it won't be slow. Or sorry, it won't be fast. It'll be a slow grind. So I'm pretty much going to do my best to buy some protective puts, hedge any bearish positions. Very similar to those in Tencent. I was speaking to someone today about Tencent, and I know you can't hedge Tencent with options because Tencent is just free falling right now, more or less. So you don't have any options on Tencent, which sucks. But for me, again, just as a reminder, this is like a 4 to 5 year play as an investment. So my approach is if I go IQ puts or BABA puts and I make some money, or KWeb or something with options, SOGO or whatever I'm playing, if I play something that does have options and I make a little bit of money on that, I'm putting it quote unquote to the side. So I go, okay, cool, I made $300 on BABA day trade, or I made $40 on an IQ swing trade or whatever. I'll put that into side money, and that's what I'm going to be buying more Tencent with if it trades down to the 200. And, I mean, could it go to zero? Sure. Why not? Anything is possible. If Tencent goes to zero, my thought would be China erases America's debt entirely. Says, all right, America, you have no more debt with the Chinese. Don't worry about it. Just get us back on. Take off the tariffs, something. That's the magnitude of what would have to happen for Tencent to get that low. It's too big. It's a massive company. So all the fibs, all that stuff, none of that matters. It's still the trend. What is the trend? So just keep in mind, my kind of time frame is like 4 to 5 years on this one. I know it's a long term, but you have to start building a position sometime on something at some level. So if you're talking about hedging on Tencent, that's my approach is, just do it thinly, buy puts on something else as it's tanking, and that's your hedge. Just be smart, long-term play. Where was I? Okay, it's the TCHY. Might as well go look at Micron today as well, because that's the other one. So right now, if you're a little red out there, it is a little red. MU also down. So MU for me, red. Protective puts, though, I do like those. Those are green. And my thought is I'm just going to keep holding those until 39, so another $1.50. Falco says, I sold 137 put for November. I just want a taste. All right, that's fair. I was right, though. I did say I was going to keep going lower. But just a little bit of a taste, a little morsel. I'm blown away that MU doesn't pay dividends, but they never have. If they announce dividends, the stock will drop and then it'll crank. Fundamentally, though, one of the most undervalued stocks out there. I'm not saying that's a reason for it to go higher by any means, but it is rationale, at least, to keep me in this trade a little bit longer. Because as far as any wave count that I can come up with, I'm all thinking that this is still a wave 4, and we're going to trade down a bit and then start kind of bouncing around some. What's this blue line for? Could this blue line be here? Go back to a daily chart. Try to figure out what that blue line was for. Yeah, I'll just bring it down to there. That seems reasonable. I don't know where I had it before, but that's good. That'll work. Yep, that's pretty much my thoughts on Micron. It's going to go a little bit lower, and I'll use those protective puts to buy however many shares, probably 10 shares, 20 shares, something like that, at the 100 on a weekly. And then I'll buy more if it breaks there. And then this covered call did expire worthless. Hooray! So that covered call is gone. And then there actually kind of is still premium for MU if you go high enough or long enough. So if you go out till January, you can sell a 52.50 covered call right now for 44 cents, which is not horrific. Because again, if I get called away up there, that'd be great. 52.50 at this point, I mean, yes, please. So a possibility for Micron, just to have something hanging out up there. We'll look at that next week on Tuesday, but that's probably what I'll end up doing. Falco says, wait for AMD and Intel earnings next week. Very true. Very true. Good reminder. First Solar, FSLR. Bill had a covered call that expired worthless. Done. And the trend on First Solar, still weak, still lower. So again, my thoughts on FSLR, if it gaps down, especially on earnings, which are not massively far away, let me go see what that is. First Solar earnings are October 25th. So next week, if it gaps down below here next week, it's going to keep sinking. Hopefully it gaps up for Bill. And that's all I have on First Solar at the moment. Yep. 1 month from now, monthly chart. So a bunch of bearish candles in a row in the monthly. Now remember, so First Solar has gotten much lower. First Solar could get down to 40, 41 or 27, and they could rally all the way back again. It obviously seems that First Solar is in some sort of channel on a monthly chart. I mean, could it come all the way back down to 11? Sure, I guess anything's possible. That's all I got on FSLR. Looks like a little bit of a short bearish trend right now. But at least that covered call expired for Bill. Here's ZUO. And ZUO, I'm going to leave it open for right now, just in case it gaps or maybe a little bit of a wick comes in, throws in the stop, and then it runs higher. I didn't get triggered in. I don't think anyone else got triggered in on ZUO. The entry was 21.29. Sorry, that was the high, and the entry was 21.35. So, good job. Close, but no cigar. So the hourly chart still hanging out. Maybe we bounce, maybe we don't. I don't know. But I like ZUO. Here's AMD. And AMD today got absolutely destroyed. Get wrecked. So Brad getting himself some shares. Brad Hauser of AMD. So Brad's got some shares. Brian Montgomery might get some shares. We'll see. Still got a long way to go. My good buddy Brad Runge has an 1850 for next Friday. Sold that today. When I pulled up this chart, the chart was right here. It was just hanging out at the low of that bullish candle right at the 50. It was just chilling, and I didn't even think about zooming into a 5-minute chart and saying, hey, what if it breaks lower? Because it just broke lower and just kept on riding. Now, what's interesting is, again, that didn't help Micron, but the thing about AMD is this is a beautiful and very lovely pullback. I know a lot of people didn't want it to pull back, but a lot of you did. Because, remember, everyone in the world wanted to buy AMD at 33. And that's when I was like, I don't know if you want to buy it at 33. I think you want to buy it a little bit lower on some pullbacks because a wave 4 is needed. So this is a wave 4 or something. ABC correction, some type of wave, however you want to count it. I think it's a wave 4. I'll look at the monthly really quick. So yeah, it was safe to say that it's a little up there. I'm still fine with it going higher. It just needs to pull back and consolidate and rest before it does go higher. Keep in mind, it has done this before, where it just ran and then crashed. Each time it got a little bit of a bounce. But when that bounce happened, if it made a S curve and it didn't hold, it was game over. So if we do this, 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 and then we break that curve, similar to here and here, AMD, it's not, most certainly not infallible. Nope. Can go lower. But anyway, we'll see what it does. Looks like it's going to come to the 100. Earnings are right around the corner. Pretty excited about those. Goldman Sachs today in a panic. It's in a panic. So Goldman Sachs, I was very close to getting into a bull put spread, almost the exact price that I'm pointing to the stock on the purple arrow. Had a retest gap that day. I did like it enough for a spread, didn't like it enough for a day trade, obviously. It's a pennant pattern. I mean, it could go any direction. If it gaps down or breaks this low, that's an easy retest gap to fill and flush. Right, if it breaks here and trades down there, that'd be a nice little move. Goldman Sachs did break this, whatever you call it, head and shoulders pattern thing. And that was when I was away. So when that support happened and it broke, retested, and failed, that was a really, really nice retest. And that's the one I missed. I really do think I would have been in that move, at least in this move. I would have captured at least the 10th of October at minimum. Entry here, stop there. Definitely would have caught that. But, oh well. Weekly chart on Goldman Sachs, you're in between the 100 200. Looks like a huge candle. To me, probably pulls back and retests most likely. I thought about doing a bull put spread at 200, 195. Just never really found the premium that I wanted. So I waited. Lows, L-O-W. So Lowe's gapped down, traded down hard, was a bearish gap and go, and kind of apologies for not setting up a bearish trade right here with a stop right there and exiting today for 1R. I did think about it. I really did. But alas, hourly charts doing its thing. The weekly chart, again, this is just a brand new high that Lowe's made. And we're pulling back on Lowe's. So, I mean, the big question is just where do you buy it, or where does it bounce, kind of a question. On this one, I truly don't know. This high wave candle, I mean, you could probably bracket trade this high wave candle too. So if it goes higher, goes lower. Looks like it's gapping down a little bit. If you're going to go bearish, you could go bearish just to the 200 for a little bit of a one-to-one, or maybe a super fast day trade. It's got room to go. It's got some room. Earnings are still a ways away. Could be a really quick trade, something you're welcome to watch on Lowe's. Next on the list is Cree, C-R-E-E. And Cree with the pullback the last 2 days. So last time I looked at it, Mr. Michael Ramsey was like, hey, is anybody watching Cree? It was right there. Tons of volume. This is the pullback on Cree that you could expect after volume like that. Here's the weekly chart, and it is getting pretty close to the 100 on a weekly. So the question is, would it form a double bottom, and could you put your entry something like right above those highs at 35.98 and put your stop loss below the 100 on a weekly? And the answer is yes, you could. It would look like that. It'd probably be more for a longer term play, or at least your stop at 33.35 would be a protective put, possibly. Big drop, and you know, if you were going to play it, that's how I would. It could obviously go a little bit lower, and if it does trigger and whipsaws and breaks down, really if it breaks below this support at 35, most likely we'll trade into the 100 on a weekly, and then you can get a chance to possibly buy if you're looking at buying Cree at that price. EA Sports. It's in the game. Was looking at that bearish. Did not set it up today, mostly because I forgot. I had a note on it, and by the time I set up and looked at it, it was lunchtime for me, which is over here. And I was like, shoot, And then the other problem is earnings is a little kind of not super, it's close. October 30th. So we have a week. I'll set this up just in case we get a pullback. And I'll be in that trade for, you know, a few days. Just in case we get a retest. All right, swing trades. 10, 19, 2018, EA. 104.56. And you can do this with puts as well if you wanted to. 109.75. I think it's a great trade based on a gap and go. Open because it's not triggered yet. And I'll put it right there. I don't know if anyone took that from yesterday or not, but if you're in, cool. The low of this candle is 102.30. The low of today was 101.98. So we closed and made a new low in a pretty decent bearish trend after we broke the 100 simple on a weekly. I think we could at least go to 99.56, but most likely EA trades down probably into here, 92.49, something like that. You just have to kind of wait and see what earnings does. Yeah, I think we go down a little bit more. Cool. All started from that gap and then happened with this gap right here. We'll see if we can catch it on a pullback. Texas Roadhouse. Do I want to trade Texas Roadhouse or not? Today will be the day I get to determine. Nope, I wanted a doji. It's not a doji. Plus earnings are right around the corner. I'll wait on Texas Roadhouse. Next on the list, CGC. And CGC did break down a little bit today. I talked about that yesterday. And put sale at 35 is there. That's fine. So put sale at 35. That's for November. Victor has one. Talked about this exact thing happening on CGC. The run up, right, into the news, a gap up, and then a trade down was verbatim what we talked about on the 15th of October. And also, a few days before that as well. Canopy Growth, probably pulling back a little bit, doing its thing. The run has happened, and then now it's time for companies to actually do the thing, make some money, hang out. CSX was also one that I set up a little bit yesterday. Didn't get a chance to post it, so I'm going to do a limit sell on CSX to see if we get triggered in on a pullback on this one. New official swing trade. 10, 19, 2018 CSX and 68.34. You could also do this one with options. 70.81. Because there's really not that many shares. I also think it's a great setup based on the retest gap open because it's not triggered yet. And copy this one. New official swing trade. Sylvan says, a lot of news up here in Canada. Weed is selling out. Oh, Falco says, time for the smoke to settle. Pretty much. Again, I think I don't think they're going to go down permanently. I just think that it's going to be a little bit of a pullback because, buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. Very similar to Apple. They make tons of money in a certain situation. And yeah, I could probably actually get that up a little bit higher. I'll just leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. That was my initial thought process on it. We'll see if we could retest 3 bearish candles in a row. Oftentimes, a little bit of a retest. I feel like I could maybe get it at 68.60. But anyway, That's what I got on CSX. SOGO, SOGO, down again. I think Brian has a put sale, but that's all the way out there in January. And SOGO's at 581. Profitable company that is just getting crushed. Adam bought some shares today. Thursday afternoon. He said order 500 shares at 580 is what he bought. Okay, so that's SOGO. SOGO right now doesn't care about fundamentals though. It's going to go a little bit lower for a little bit longer, I think. Trying to pick the bottom if you're buying here, but again, if you do, just accumulate and know it could go to 0. Doubt it does. It could go to 4 though. It could definitely go to 2. We've seen it happen before. And by the way, great job, Julian, and a few others for selling up here. Bought there, sold there. Everyone got trapped. I even did a day trade up there and made money. And then SOGO just got hammered. So this one is a profitable company, but right now is a little bit in the red. Here's another one, QD. And QD looks the exact same, except QD was kind of up today. This is kind of an interesting chart to keep your eyes on. I did try this one not too long ago, picking the bottom. It didn't work. I'm still kind of watching it. I'll put on the list for sometime next week, and I'll just keep watching the bottom. I'm really debating on just setting an alert to look at it every morning just to see if it gaps up, because this thing gaps up strong. Any part in the morning is going to just run. Look at that. Just getting ragged. 34 to $4. Oh, QD. VIPS. VIPS is at 5. So VIP shops, consumer discount store, retail, looks like it's going back down to the single digits of 0 land pretty soon. That broke support, bearish trend, hasn't even hit the 50 since May. Keep shorting it, don't buy it, not for a while. It's a discount store. I believe it's a retail type of a company. One of the ones getting affected by good old Amazon. And right now, I just don't know where the bottom would come in. I mean, if you're playing with an absolute 0, feel free to. Totally up to you. But that trend, I mean, it hasn't even hit the 10 yet. So hit the 10 to 20, it'll roll down at least one more time. Yeah, I think it's going to 0. So I'll wait on that one, team. Mosaic, ticker symbol MOS. This one is up right now. The Mosaic company, I do like this company. Resistance at 33.87. This was my pick in 2017 for a profitable stock that year. And obviously I was wrong, but I should have picked it again in 2018. They make they make money, they do well. Trend still looks good. They were up today. Volume looks nice. I'm thinking just buy the dip on this one or something. If you're in some shares, maybe do a collar because it is at resistance. We are hanging out right here, and we could drop and bounce, but that's probably what you'd be looking for is a drop and then a bounce on that one. That's Mosaic. Home Depot, ticker symbol HD. My buddy Dwayne playing this one lower. Should have hopped in on a continuation on this one today as well because it was such a wonderful bearish gap and go yesterday. So it's pretty, yeah, I mean, just it got mangled yesterday after that gap and go. Continued a little bit lower today. Where's Home Depot going to? Probably 172.78, most likely. And then from there, maybe the 100 simple on a weekly. And then from there, probably bouncing. We will just have to see. Okay, that's Home Depot. Here's Eventbrite. And Eventbrite is going to keep going lower for a while. It also came out. It is also IPO'd. It immediately traded higher, broke its IPO low, and this is a wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. If you're buying Eventbrite, do it on a longer term scale, very, very small for right now. I got 18 shares in Eventbrite, not a big investment. I'll probably buy another 18 shares at like 26 or something, 24. It's just small. Tiptoe in. I like it long term. I think it's a cool company. It's a cool product. It eventually will go a little bit higher, but for right now, short, or at least don't go long, because it's a little hard to short unless you. Does it buy? Does it have puts? I actually haven't even looked. Eventbrite. Don't think so. No, sorry, I was doing something else. My bad. I typed in the wrong thing. EB. Yes, it does have options. Okay. It does have options. So I'll just wait it out, give it some time. Or play it bearish, however you want to do it. RHT. Red Hat. I know Brad was looking at this one for a bullish trade. It's got the pullback. That's what I drew 3 days ago based on this retest gap. So unless Red Hat starts bouncing tomorrow, which would be Monday or Tuesday, and you start getting a gap up or something, Red Hat looks weak. You had a gap down on earnings, a continuation. It's at the 100 simple on a weekly. I get that. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I would even be considering it bullish. So Red Hat, we'll look at it next week on Tuesday and see if it wants to play ball or do anything remotely bullish. All right, we got 3 left. EEFT, a European financial processing company. Euronet. Holding up strong. Look at this trend. So Euronet got a little scary when it went from 100 to 75 into the 200 simple inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then took off from there. Bullish gap and go. Volume looks good. Trend looks good. Candle looks good. I don't have any position in this one. Don't plan on it. But if you want to, you could buy a pullback halfway into the candle that was posted today, and then maybe buy another half an hour at 109. But right now the trend looks great. So if you're in that one bullish, stay in. Shopify today. Whew, Shopify. I was looking at it yesterday and the day before, and it just looked like it was going to get pummeled because it just had this huge gap up, kind of out of the blue, just crushed, and then immediately filled the gap. Very next day, create a little bit of a lower shadow. I think it's going to be all about earnings on Shopify. Here's the weekly charts, and it looks a little weakly, in my opinion. I think this one could go to 107 pretty easily over the next few weeks to months. I don't know if that happens. Truly not sure. But earnings will be very big, very important on Shopify. I know there's a few people in long-term put sales and stuff like that. I did have a $200 end-of-year target, which it might not hit. I did play it bullish here, got stopped out there. So we'll see what happens on earnings. If it does gap down, most likely we'll trade higher on earnings. So we will see what she does. That's going on the list on Tuesday. Falco says, tech looks weak and defensive stocks looking stronger. Weak like Pandora. Pandora is still a little weak as well. Had the buyout news, whatever news that was, Pandora didn't care. It gapped and filled that gap immediately, and since then just continued to trade down. So it looks like it's going to hang out here probably for the next few weeks to months. I can almost guarantee it's going to go to 841 and chop around here for a bit, mostly because whatever the Cirrus uses doesn't look like it's going to be any good. So it's going to hold 841 and then chop around here, probably dip and hem and haw for a while, maybe make it up to 1127 at some point. The 100 has been a brick in the past, and right now we'll see if it's going to be a little bit of support. But yeah, Pandora, probably going to cut that one pretty soon because it doesn't look like it's going to do anything great. We got the announcement we were looking for, and it just didn't do anything. So for whatever reason, probably going to be cutting that one very soon. All right, that's Pandora. That's the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we got. Monday is Merchant Monday. Simon says, nice weekend all. You too. Have a great weekend over in Italy. Here's what we got on the list for Monday. And if there's anything else you want to look at, let me know. Nancy says, thank you. My pleasure, Nancy. Thank you for being here. Jai says, thanks. You're most welcome. Team from around the world, I'm out. You can go pick up a real life trader from the airport. We're going to be trading buddies for the next 5 days. It's going to be epic. You all are amazing people. I will see you later. Enjoy your weekend. Let's go enrich lives together. And until then, love life, live life, and trade it. You guys rock.